Hello everyone, we're back with another episode of LMScast. I'm Joshua Millage, and I'm joined once again with my very mountainous mountain man friend here, Christopher Badgett. And today we're talking high-level strategy. But I think this is really, really important when you're thinking about building a course because, because strategy informs everything else. So we're going to be talking about blue ocean strategy versus dealing with things in a red ocean. So Chris, what is the fundamental idea? What does that even mean, blue ocean versus red ocean?
Well, it comes down to strategy, like you said, and positioning your business, your course, your product, your offer to the world. And a blue ocean is wide open. It's like you're the only one out there. You're essentially creating a new category. You're offering something that's truly unique. Mm-hmm. And the red ocean is a competitive market where, if I were to think in the context of online courses, I would say a competitive market would be how to do internet marketing. Is very competitive, but a blue ocean example of that would be some very specialized new competitive or non-competitive market where you can just really rise up and create a name for yourself as a leader, right, and get that what they say is the first mover advantage.
Right, and this is a concept that goes back to a book that was written, I believe, in the late 90s, early 2000s, called The Blue Ocean Strategy. And essentially, what the analogy is being used here is that you don't want to participate, or you want to avoid participating in an ocean that is red, where it is like sharks are eating each other and eating things, and it's all bloodied with competition, versus a blue ocean, which is, like you said, wide open, and there's not a lot of competition. But some of that comes back to language and position and messaging. So one of the most incredible books I've ever read, I think I have it. It's somewhere around here. It's a book called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And it's a book that's like, it's about $200, $250 if you're going to buy it now. It's been out of print, but it's the most phenomenal book on, for one, copywriting, but really this idea of positioning. And one of the key ideas in the book is one of market intelligence. And so as a market matures, the messaging in the market has to become different. And so the example that he uses, because this book was written, I think, in the 1960s or so, is he talks about cigarettes. So it used to be the cigarette companies would come out and was like, we have the best cigarettes. And so when the market's really new, that headline could work, like, we have the best cigarettes. And then as time goes on, the market gets more mature, more competition comes into the market, they have to position themselves differently. So now it's, cigarettes with toasted tobacco and filters. Like, what the heck is toasted tobacco? I don't know. But it's like, the language changes. And then the market gets more mature. And now we have Virginia Slims, which are, geared towards the female demographic. And so the market matures again. So they're constantly positioning and trying to create these new pockets, these new opportunities in a market that's already, heavily kind of bloodied with competition. And I think that happens everywhere. You see it all the time. Like, the cell phone market was absolutely saturated, but Apple came in and just changed everything. And they had a new message, new opportunity. I remember when Steve Jobs gave that pitch, he said, today we're releasing a revolutionary new internet device, a phone, and a personal, I think he said like a personal productivity device too, or something like that. Or no, like an internet reader. And then he's like said it like 3 or 4 times, and he's like, oh, and by the way, it's all one device, and people are like, oh my gosh, because up until that point, you had your phone, and then you had like a little like Palm Pilot internet tablet. These things weren't combined, so that he created a whole new market by putting them together and doing something different. So my question to you, Chris, is how do you do this with education and courses?
Well, let's have a fun little experiment here, and give me an industry or a type of skill, and we can do a competitive version and a blue ocean version.
Okay, well let's do one that I think. Let's do gardening.
Gardening, all right, making it easy for me.
I want to start easy, yeah.
Because I have a learning management system of my own on gardening, so I'm kind of familiar with the space.
Right, but I want to talk about gardening too, not because you are a domain expert in this, and you and your wife have a phenomenal course. on organic gardening, but I also think that for the untrained ear like myself, I just think gardening. So I don't know about all these other things. Now, getting to know you, I've learned about permaculture and organic gardening, all these things, but to me it's just gardening. So I look at it from my perspective as like, I don't want to get involved there. There's too much competition. So how would I position myself differently?
Well, let me just start it off, just kind of go macro and high level and say that sometimes a blue ocean strategy is better, and sometimes entering a competitive market is better. And all that really comes down to is a blue ocean can be harder to pull off. It takes great marketing and positioning, and your offer really needs to resonate. It needs to have what we call product market fit. If you go into a proven market, it's going to be, the ocean's going to be red, but the model is kind of proving, and now you just have to position yourself a little differently as why you're better compared to these other offers, but you're still in the same category. Mm-hmm. So for organic gardening, if I was to create an educational course about a beginner's guide to organic gardening, that would be a very competitive market, very red ocean. There's a lot of, books and courses in person, online, about how to get started with organic gardening. If I wanted to take a more blue ocean strategy approach, I would create a course that's very specific and in some ways, like you mentioned in your Steve Jobs example, combine a bunch of elements that people already understand into like one product. Mm-hmm. So that course would be how to turn a regular lawn into a food forest in 1 year with permaculture techniques or something like that was so targeted and so specific that there's really not that much competition out there in that niche of permaculture, and also with the food forest focus, right, which is an organic garden that doesn't exist just on the ground in the way we traditionally think about a backyard garden. It has layers and canopy and all these different things. But that would be an example of intro to organic gardening, very competitive.
Right.
How to turn your lawn into a food forest in a year, very niche specific and blue ocean like.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And I think that's the difference. So, let's do another one. Let's do like accounting.
Accounting. So intro to accrual method accounting would be very competitive in terms of accounting expertise. If I were, let's say you and I are location independent entrepreneurs, we can work from anywhere. You were just in Thailand. I spent last winter in Costa Rica. And we have this location independent thing, which is really cool. Accountants can do that too. So if I were to create a course called How to Take Your Brick and Mortar Accounting Business 100% online and fully location independent, so you can run your accounting business and continue to attract new clients from a Southeast Asia beach.
Right.
That would be like, whoa, that's like mind-blowingly different and kind of more blue ocean-like, and it goes against the grain of the traditional, more standard accounting education and material.
Right. And one that this is just like something that I've been looking for is, if there's any accountants listening, I would love to talk to you because I'm constantly looking for help in the accounting world and understanding. So if you had a course on, accounting basics for internet entrepreneurs, no one's doing that. So if there's an accountant listening, no one's doing that well. No one's teaching us how to organize our receipts. No one's teaching us, and it's excruciatingly painful. But it's because there's this idea of like one size fits all. This is how you do it across the board. No, I want to be spoken to specifically as a location-independent internet entrepreneur. What do I do in the way of accounting? So that's taking accounting down to internet entrepreneurs, down to location-independent entrepreneurs, internet entrepreneurs. So the niche goes deep there. And I would read that and go, that's for me, because I am that person. They're speaking directly to me. And so, we've talked to so many people lately from all over the world, people who are also in gardening, people who are in more mindset, meditation, training. We've, VA pension planners. I've talked to all sorts of people, and I think this is something that I hope inspires them to think about what they're teaching and think about the messaging around it and get really specific on who they're trying to help and carve out that blue ocean for themselves.
And I just want to say, too, we're big believers in the power of niche marketing and focus. And, you know, if you're concerned of like, well, which way should I go? Should I go red ocean? Should I go blue ocean? We say this a lot on this podcast that one approach is to transcend and include. So do both. Try, if you're an expert in accounting, try a traditional competitive course that, you know, is similar to other ones you've seen out there and you know, targeting a more general audience. And then just do some experiments with some really niche focused, combining different ideas or processes in different ways to try to make this kind of blue ocean course. Do both and see what your market resonates with, because you may find that one way or the other works best for you. But the best way to do it, I would encourage you to watch a couple episodes ago about pre-selling, is put both offers out there, get people in those courses and see what resonates, and also see what you have the most fun doing and the type of, you know, interacting with the type of people that you're attracting to those different offers.
I couldn't agree more. Well, Chris, I think that's a beautiful way to sum up today's episode, and would love to hear everyone's thought on this content. So you can email me at joshua@lmscast.com or chris@lmscast.com. We're really loving this podcast. We love hearing from everyone in the audience, and we're excited for the upcoming launch of LifterLMS. And so if anyone's listening and would like to be notified about that, you can go to LifterLMS.com, watch some of the content that we have available on that plugin, and yeah, let us know what you think. So until next week, we will see you soon.